Perfect. So how are you? Fine. Very good. So just to summarize our situation. Today you wrote the PC. Perfect. We start a new exercise on the pairwise comparison. And then we lecture also tomorrow and on Tuesday. And after that, I will not lecture on Thursday and Friday, as I already anticipated to you. And I will lecture the next week. And on Friday, April 24th, I will close the course. So I'm confirming my schedule. And again, as I anticipated to you, unless you don't ask me to have an appeal before that, I will fix the first exam at the beginning of May. Therefore, I will skip 1 week from April 27 to May. Let me be more precise. I will leave you 1 week from Monday, April 27 to Sunday, May 3rd for studying. And if you agree, on Monday, May 4th, I may give you the opportunity to take, the first opportunity to take the exam, which is oral, as I told you. So, if you agree, the proposed date would be May 4th, and I would say 9:30 in my office, which is located at the first floor on the next building, that is called the historical building. And my office is located at the Costruzioni Idrauliche, which means hydraulic works, and you find the door if you take not the main stair, the other stair, the smaller one. Just in front of the stair, at the first floor, there is the big door, just close to the coffee machine, with the written Costruzioni Idrauliche. And this is the door of my section. Everything is clear. May 4th is fine. Does somebody of you would like to have an appeal before than that? Perfect. Okay, let me just confirm this. Okay, and then, as I anticipated to you, I will propose to have another possibility to get the exam in May, maybe after a couple of weeks. So it could be just 1 second, Monday, could be Monday, May 18, or Monday, May 25th, 25. And keep in mind that the next opportunity will be the official appeal. And the official appeal, I need to check when it is defined at the closure of the courses, but I will put it, and I think I can do that, on Monday, June 8th. So I'm making a check now. And, but let me fix the official exam. Let me fix it on June 8th, which is a Monday, at 9:30, again in my office. And this would be, I would like to be very precise in this, very clear. This would be the official appeal. So you need to subscribe it through Alba Esami, because you will see this appeal on Alba Esami. You will not see the other two appeals that I scheduled in May on Alba Esami, because they are unofficial. So you will see the official appeal on Alba Esami, and if you took the exam in May, you need to subscribe at it, because with your subscription I can register your mark, okay? And of course you don't need to subscribe if you didn't take the exam in May and you don't want to take the exam on June 8th. But either if you took the exam in May or you would like to take the exam on June 8th, then you have to subscribe to the official appeal that you will see. Let me just give me time to open it on Almesani, but if not today, let me say from Monday you will see it, okay? So basically, we still have now to fix the second date in May. So I would prefer to give only one opportunity because I'm not sure if I am free in other days. So the choice could be May 18, which means 2 weeks later, after May 4th, but means about 3 weeks before June 8th. And the other opportunity would be May 25. So who is in favor of 18? Just raise your hand, even if you want to, even if you don't take that exam. And who is in favor of May 25? Okay, it seems to me that there is a slight majority for the 25 of May. Okay, perfect. So let me fix it. Okay, now, yeah, just 1 second. Yes, please.
Some of us have some modulo integrato.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And yeah, the modulo integrato. So for those of you who have the modulo integrato, no problem because the other module is coastal engineering, correct? Okay, it's no problem because you can take my part. And in any case, the modulo integrato works in this way. You take the first part, whatever you choose, you can take as first part my part or Professor Lambertis, and then we communicate each other and we tell each other the marks. And then you take the second part, and the professor who makes you the second part of the exam registers the mark. So basically, this is our agreement. As soon as we make an exam to you, we communicate each other, and the last one registers the mark. So if you take my part in May, I will tell Professor Lamberti your mark, and when you take his part, presumably I think in June, he will already know my mark and he will make the average. Okay? Basically we compute the average. This gives rise sometimes quite often to the mark of 29, which is, I mean, it's strange but not bad. So don't be concerned by the 29, mark of 29, because, you know, it happens quite frequently that one says 27 and the other says 30, and then the average is 29. Okay? Another issue, in order to subscribe to Almesani, you know how to do that. So for the official appeal, you just have to log in and you subscribe. To subscribe for the unofficial appeals, you need to send an email to me. And please do that, because I need to know in advance how many students I need to make the exam. So basically, just send an email to me, and there is, I think it is enough for me if I receive your subscription by 2 days before the exam. So for the May 4th, you can even send an email on May 2nd, no problem. Just a recommendation, if you change your mind, please unsubscribe by sending another email, okay? Because it's a bit of a problem for me if I make a plan for 10 students and then I may decide to postpone some of them in the afternoon, and then you don't show up. And therefore the other students who are postponed already, it's a mess. So I prefer to have a correct estimate. Not because, usually I make the exam in the order in which I receive the subscription. So don't be concerned if you are in doubt, you can subscribe. I kindly ask you, as soon as you change your mind, to send an email to me without waiting for the last day, please. Okay? Because as I said, I may decide to tell some of you to come later in the afternoon, or even 1 day later if I see that I have too many students to make the exam too. Okay? Okay. Yes, please keep into account that it may happen if I get many of you, like more than 15, more than 10, because there are some students who don't attend the lectures but may subscribe to the exam. So it may happen that I have in some appeals more than 10 students or 15 students, and then it may happen that I postpone some of the students in the afternoon or even the next day. So please don't make any booking for the next day, or if you need to, just let me know in advance. Okay, I think that's it. And for those of you who just came in the room, I fixed the appeals for the exams in May 4th, May 25. These are the unofficial appeals, and you need to send an email to me to subscribe. The exams will be in my office, first floor of the other building, the historical one, we call it, and at Costruzione Idrauliche. And these are unofficial appeals. The official appeal will be June 8th. I need to check, but I think that, do you know when it is the final, the crucial date of the courses? 5th of June. Sorry? 5th of June, so June 8th is fine. This is the official appeal, and you will see it on Almesani. If you want to subscribe it, you need to subscribe on Almesani. Please don't send an email to me for June 8th. In any case, you need to subscribe to the official appeal if you took the exam in May in the unofficial ones. I hope it's clear, okay? Perfect. Final information, for those of you who just came in the room, I will lecture tomorrow and Tuesday. I will not lecture next week on Thursday and Friday. I will lecture the subsequent week, which means, let me see. I will lecture, as I said, the subsequent week, which means Tuesday, April 21st, Thursday, April 23rd, and Friday, April 24th will be the last day of this course. And I will close on Friday, April 24th. And next week, on Tuesday, so basically it means, I want to be very clear, it's Tuesday 14th, I will call the guy who takes your opinions on the course and the professor. So please make an effort, at least at the beginning, on Tuesday, to attend the lecture. And please, if you know somebody who attended at least part of the lectures and is not attending anymore, if you can tell him or her to attend on Tuesday to fill the questionnaire, I would appreciate very much. As I told you, to me it's very important that you attend and you fill the form, and if for some reason you can't attend on Tuesday, it would be great for me if you told me, and I will give you another opportunity to fill it. I think you cannot come on Tuesday. Okay. Okay, so, yeah, tomorrow is too early. I think I can manage for the subsequent week to, on Tuesday next week, to give you.
I guess many of us, because we have a geotechnical exam on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay, so let me postpone it then. If I postpone it to Tuesday 21st, it's fine. Okay, so did you understand, everybody? You understood? It's Tuesday, April 21st, the day in which I will call the guy to get your opinion. Make an effort, please, to attend. It's very important for me. And I will explain to you why it's very important, okay? It's very important not only for me, but also for the master degree program. To know your opinion is extremely important. So I will explain you why, and also I will give you some instructions on how the questionnaire should be filled, and I will also explain to you how it is used by the school and the university, because I think it's important for you to know how it is used. You get information in order to better inform your opinion. Okay, I think that's fine, but not today because I already dedicated too much time to details. Let me count you, 4, 6, 7, 10. Okay, that's fine. 13, 16, 17. Okay, somebody is apparently missing. So if you can spread the noise for the 21st, I would appreciate very much. Okay, perfect. Now, let me now introduce the exercise. And this agenda for the exams and the course has been recorded in the video. So if you don't remember some of the dates or etc., please make reference to the video. Okay, let me see if, no, I don't have connection, so I can't show you what's going on my web. Sorry, I forgot to switch the phone off. Okay, now it's off. And in my website, I uploaded yesterday a revised version of the exercise that I will show you, and which we will develop today. So if you didn't download it, no problem. It's available now in the new version. If you already downloaded it yesterday because you wanted to prepare it, it is slightly changed. So just download it again. Now I don't have the connection, I can't show you where it is, but it's very easy. If you go in the bottom part of the page, you will see the link to the exercise. And it's an exercise on pairwise comparison. There are two of them. You just have to click the first one of them. And so another issue that I wanted to tell you is I just changed the order of the documents on the website in order to reflect the order that I followed in my lectures. Just a change of order, so I didn't make any change to the tutorial, just changed the order. Okay, good. Now let me see the exercise that we want to develop today. And basically, I use my USB key, so if you don't have connection as well, I will give you the key to take the files, because I guess that you don't have connection the same as I don't have it. So basically the exercise is this one. I open it because there is the text. The text is very simple. Just let me show you. Basically, our purpose is to estimate the design flow of an hydropower plant, and the exercise is split into parts. This is the first part. So basically, in this first part, the exercise makes reference to the design of an hydropower plant. When you design a hydropower plant, a small hydropower plant, or even a huge one, basically you have to decide the design flow. And we will give some information on this, because this is a professional exercise, a professional commitment that is being assigned quite often to young engineers. And the reason for this is that after the exploitation of the opportunities in many countries for building big hydropower plants, and these opportunities were exploited in Europe, to give you a reference, in the past century, from basically 1920 to 1970. Basically, during these 50 years, in many countries in Europe, the opportunities for building big hydropower plants have been exploited. And the reason is that people started in 1920 because at that time the need for electricity increased dramatically. And after the First World War. And then there was a stop, of course, during the Second World War. And after the Second War, there was the economical boom. You may have heard that around the 60s of the past centuries, Europe experienced a very healthy period in economical terms, with a lot of opportunities for the industries, a lot of opportunities for the employment of people in these industries, and therefore the demand for electricity increased dramatically once again. And therefore during the 60s in Europe, very huge dams were built. And of course this was an experience that involved also some dramatic consequences. You may have heard, for instance, about the Bayonne disaster in Italy, because, you know, of course, people started to build huge dams. The experience was still limited, and therefore, also we experienced a lot of problems. But the result, in any case, was that up to the end of the 70s, almost all the opportunities, the interesting opportunities in Europe for building huge hydropower plants were exhausted. And therefore there was the advent of the nuclear plants, which were built starting from about 1970 up to today in some countries. And then recently there is a renewed interest for hydropower generation. And the renewed interest is motivated by the fact that the improved technology allows us to take advantage from opportunities that were not convenient in the past, and in particular with respect to small hydropower plants. I will provide you a definition of what small means, but what is important to know, because you know the definition makes reference to the amount of electricity that is produced. The definition of small plant makes reference to the amount of electricity. And this is not really meaningful for us. What is important to know is that the small plants usually don't require building a dam, creating a storage. They just use the flowing water in the river, which means that they produce electricity when water is available in the river without accumulation, and then when the river gets dry or when the flow goes below a certain level, they just stop. And these small plants, as I said, now are an interesting opportunity because we have very efficient technologies that allow us to use even very small jumps and to take advantage even from very reduced flows. And therefore there is today a flourishing activity in the design of these small plants. They also have a limited environmental impact because usually the water is released where it is taken. There is no storage. It's just diverted for a small reach of the river, sometimes a few meters, and then it's given back. It doesn't mean that the impact is zero, because when you take part of the water and you force the water to pass within a pipe and through a turbine, of course if you have fishes it's a problem, you understand that. So even if you give back the water where you take it, still there is some environmental impact. But you easily understand that it's an impact that is much lower with respect to the impact that you get when you build a dam, and maybe that you get a river dry for kilometers and kilometers. Because when you build a big plant, usually you don't give back the water just downstream the dam. You give back the water much downstream because you want to use a very relevant jump. So basically, this introduction serves to explain to you that it may happen to you that you are asked to estimate, to design a small hydropower plant. And when it is very small, the design is very simple. Of course, it may get more complicated if you need to build infrastructures. There are some small plants that don't need any infrastructure. You just need a turbine, and usually they are portable turbines that you put in place just close to the river, and that's it. And you just need a pipe to take the water from the river to the turbine. And these are typically small plants that serve one or two houses. But there are some small plants that may serve like 10, 20 houses, and then you may need to build some infrastructures. In any case, one fundamental question from the hydrological point of view is to determine the design flow of the hydropower plant. Because, you know, there are pros and cons. And of course, one possibility, one idea that you may have is to use all the water that is available. And then you need the data because you need to estimate how much water passes through the river. But it's not very convenient to use all the water that is available. Why is that? First of all, you have to take into account that you need to release an environmental flow. So this is a design problem. You have to estimate the environmental flow for the river. And the environmental flow is defined as the minimum flow that you need to release to preserve the ecosystem. Again, the environmental flow is defined as the minimum flow that you need to release downstream a water withdrawal to preserve the ecosystem of the river. Keep in mind that some people don't like the use of the word minimum because it implies a point of view that tends to use too much water. But I think this definition, which is the classical definition of environmental flow, is very clear. So I use it, I still use it. I repeat it, again, the environmental flow is the minimum flow that you need to release it into a river in order to preserve the ecosystem of the river.
So that means you need both the design flow and the environmental flow.
Yes, let me say that when I say that you need to estimate the design flow, I imply that you also need an estimate of the environmental flow. Because if you want to get an estimate of the design flow, you need to know how much water is available and what is the environmental flow. Still, to use an high design flow could be not convenient. Why is that? Because if you increase the design flow, you decrease the amount of water that is released into the river. So even if you meet the environmental flow requirements, you impact the river ecosystem more. If you increase the design flow, you get more water from the river and you impact the river ecosystem more. So some people may say, okay, even if you meet the environmental flow requirements, I kindly ask you to reduce your design flow because I don't want to impact the ecosystem of the river too much. So this may be one reason because it's not convenient. Also, there is an impact on the landscape. Even if the ecosystem of the river is preserved, of course, a dry river doesn't look good, doesn't look nice. And also, there might be an impact on the touristic income of the region. Even if you meet the environmental flow requirements, taking water from the river may have an impact on the tourism. Less people may come into this region in order to swim into the river, in order to fish, and therefore you have an economical implication. All these aspects need to be evaluated. And also there is another issue that is extremely important, which I try to explain. For small hydropower plants, you don't have any storage, so you don't have the opportunity to regulate the river flow. This is extremely important. No storage means that you don't have the opportunity to regulate the river flow. Therefore, the amount of water that you can take from the river varies in time and is dictated by the river regime. I repeat, the amount of water that you can take from the river varies in time and is dictated by the river regime. Again, you don't have the opportunity to regulate the river flow, because a storage, a dam, is built for this purpose, to regulate the river flow, to transform a varying flow into a constant release. Is this concept clear to you? Perfect. For small plants, you don't have this opportunity. It means that the amount of energy that you produce is varying as well. Okay, because if the amount of water that you can use varies, this implies that the amount of energy that you produce varies as well. Perfect. Now, try to figure out this situation. If you increase your design flow for an hydropower plant on a given river, you can use your plant for that design flow for a reduced amount of time during the year. Because when the river flow is slower, you can't use it at full power. I mean, let me make an example. Let's suppose that your design flow is 10 for your hydropower plant. You can use the hydropower plant at full power only when the river flow is higher than 10, of course. And if the river flow is 8, you use the hydropower plant at reduced power, not at full power, which means that you get less money by selling the energy. So the implication is that increasing the design flow implies a reduction of time in which the plant can work full power. Okay? So let's suppose that you design your hydropower plant for the peak flow during a year. It means that you can use the plant full power just 1 second in a year, because the peak flow lasts for maybe 1 second, correct? It's a peak, it's instantaneous. So this is clearly not convenient, because if you increase the design flow, the plant gets more expensive. The pipes that you need to build are larger, more expensive. The turbine is larger, more expensive. So it's not convenient beyond a certain point to increase the design flow. So you have to find a compromise through a cost-benefit analysis. We will discuss these issues later in the final week of this subject. But I wanted to give you the idea. The idea is that estimating the design flow for a small hydropower plant implies several considerations, including the fact that if you increase the design flow, you reduce the time in which the plant works full power. Perfect. Now, what is the text of our exercise? Leave there, and let me increase it a little bit. Basically, it says that we need to design an hydropower plant, and the first part of the exercise just defines the criteria to be met to reach the optimal design, and these are the economical benefit, the impact on the ecosystem, the impact on the landscape, the impact on the touristic appeal of the river. This is just an example. These are impacts that usually are actual impacts, and therefore they are usually considered when designing an hydropower plant. But of course you may find other criteria, additional criteria. Or you may work in a situation where there is no touristic appeal and therefore you remove the fourth one. So let's suppose that we have these three criteria. And when I write impact on the ecosystem, of course I imply that there is also an environmental flow to be met, to be released. The question now is to determine the optimal weights to be assigned to the above criteria. And then the next step would be, once the weights are determined, to see how the estimation of the design flow is finalized. For the first part of our exercise, we just have to determine these weights. And this is something that you know how to do. But of course, we need to perform this experiment in practice. And my aim is also to show you that ensuring consistency of a matrix, of the matrix of the pairwise comparison, is not trivial. Okay, so let's do it. And as I said, basically, if you make reference to my document, you know how to do this. Let's try to do it together. And in the same file, which I will give to you if you don't have the connection, I am suggesting an R code, which is similar to the R code that I provided to you in my document, but not really the same. Here, there are some changes that I wanted to make because I wanted to give you also a different perspective. I wanted to teach to you different instructions. And also there is an Excel file. I just want to introduce it to you. And sorry, I need to open it manually. And I put this Excel file here because indeed it wouldn't be necessary, because one could develop this exercise directly into R. But Excel has an advantage. And the advantage is that, just one second, I can't understand why.